Hello! Hello, whiskey lovers around the world. This is Jock speaking shalom to you, and the reason I'm saying shalom, today I'm talking about a whiskey from Israel. I've spoken before about whiskies from Scotland, Ireland, even Taiwan, Japan, but today I'm talking about one from Israel. And it's from Tel Aviv. It's called Milk and Honey. There we go, you can have a look. The Milk and Honey Distillery. They don't only make whiskey, ladies and gents, they also make gin, Levantine gin. They get their herbs for the Levantine gin from a market, a spice market, the Lewinsky Spice Market, not too far away from where they actually have the distillery. But I'm not going to talk about that, I'm going to talk about the whiskey only just now. They also have new make for people that want to taste what it's going to be like. And this, if you know, eyes deceive when you look on a camera, and I've got good lighting in this room, but I don't know if you can see this properly. I'll take it right up and let you have a look. It's quite, it looks like a well-matured whiskey, but it's actually only about 1.5 years old, this whiskey which I have. And I'll pour it into the glass, and as I pour it into the glass, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Oh, there we go. Lovely, lovely. Now, I was there, I had the opportunity to go there just a couple of weeks ago. I was there with my daughter. I'm letting it just get in the glass and start to, we'll start to change in the glass. I know it quite well now. I've become to know it quite intimately. I was there with my daughter in Tel Aviv a couple of weeks ago, and it was absolutely wonderful. Tel Aviv is such a vibrant, young and city with full of life and fun people, lots of laughter and parties. It's a very liberal city. It's for example very gay friendly. It's also a great mix of old and new. There's they call it the White City. It's got Bauhaus type of buildings. For vegan people, it's a Walhalla. It's absolutely wonderful, full of vegan restaurants. Anyway, that's Tel Aviv, and in that great mix of this vibrant culture, there's some young whiskey enthusiasts who have been incredibly passionate to make whiskey, and this is what they've done. And this whiskey distillery opened in 2013. They auctioned off their first batch. That was an experimental batch. Now they've got really heavy duty, real big stills like you would find in Scotland. They adhere quite almost religiously to the Scottish way of making whiskey. They do it exactly the same way as in Scotland. They mature it the exact same way. They also are going to leave it for at least 3 years and a day before they'll bottle it as a malt whiskey. This, what I have here, is not called malt whiskey, it's called young single malt. The word whiskey is not on the bottle. The reason it's called young single malt, it's too young to be called whiskey. And I brought the bottle up to the camera just now so that you could see it. It really looks a lot more mature than it actually is. It's 1.5 years old, and it's been matured in 3 different casks. Lovely, absolutely lovely. You wouldn't believe, if only we had such a thing as smelly vision that you could smell this. You know, have a smell, smell it, smell that, smell it, come on. Have a smell, sniff it, go up to the screen and sniff it. Smell that, isn't it lovely? It's beautiful. It's absolutely wonderful. You would think it was years and years old. It's amazing. Now I'm going to taste it and then tell you a little bit more about it. So here we go. It's not, well, l'chaim actually, l'chaim, better. Beautiful, beautiful in the mouth, very full, round flavours. It's a triple cask, ladies and gentlemen. By triple cask, it's been matured in bourbon casks, it's been matured in Israeli red wine casks, and it's also had a little bit of time in an ex-Isla cask. Now it's bottled at 46%. It's they come in half-litre bottles. There's a little hanger on the bottle, and on the bottle it says a little bit about. They tell you a little bit about themselves in a little thing that hangs on the bottle, and it says here, the Milk and Honey Distillery is Israel's first whisky distillery. We are dedicated to genuine artisanal manufacturing and committed to maintaining the highest of standards, reflected through the careful selection of raw materials, barrels and equipment, meticulously following Scottish tradition. Our commercial single malt whisky will be ready at the end of 2019. So this one is a little bit too young yet, but it's still they call it malt, but not whisky yet. Until then, we wanted to give you the opportunity to be part of our journey and to experience the quality and effect that the hot and humid climate that characterises Tel Aviv has on our new make spirit. Yes, and there's where we get it, ladies and gentlemen, the exact same as you get in for example, Kavala, or in Taiwan, or in India, for example, maybe a little less so than India. It's got such a hot climate that the whisky matures very, very fast. Scotland's cool, as you know. It's it's got a very moderate climate, and as the whisky matures, if you see this barrel here, the whisky goes into the barrel, and then it comes back again, and that takes a long time. Whereas if it's hot, you know, a barrel being porous it will evaporate much quicker, and the contact with the wood will go much faster, and that's what's happening here. I'll tell you a little bit about the taste now. It's absolutely wonderful. You know, I told you that it had a little bit of the inside. It's seen the inside of an Isla barrel, but that is not really something that's very dominant. Even though the molecule of the phenol, which comes from peat, is a very dominant molecule. In this case, it hasn't managed to really dominate the whole thing. It's actually just a kind of, it's not a thing that it's all sitting on top of. The peat flavour kind of is like a thread going through it. Now the Israeli red wine is giving it a lot of fruit flavour. Give it a little bit of water. Oh, actually I'm tasting the peat a little bit more now. Even before the water. And now, it becomes more pungent after a little bit of water. The oiliness is very oily indeed. The oiliness is beginning to evaporate, and then I'm beginning to smell it much better. Red fruits, nuts, berries, of course a little bit of vanillins. Porridge, if you know what porridge is, Scots porridge oats from Israel. Isn't it lovely? They were very nice to me, and you know, there's no use me saying to you, look, I'm impartial. I love them. I can't help it. I love these people, and but I also love this, and I wouldn't dare to actually sit and sing the praises of a product that I really didn't like. So I'm telling you the truth, and I just hope that you'll believe me on it. This is absolutely excellent whiskey. Now on the back label, they've put a lot of stuff on the back label which is compulsory in the European Union, but they've also put a little thing in the back saying that it's kosher. So I'll let you see that. Get it up. I hope the camera will catch it. It says kosher right at the very bottom. Let me see where it says it. Yeah, here where my finger's pointing to, it says kosher. But what I hope that the people watching this video will not do is judge this whiskey as a religious thing, and I hope that you also won't judge it as a political thing, because when you mention the very word Israel, many people often have the association of religion and politics, and this is not what they're doing. They are not. This is not propaganda. It's got nothing to do with religion. It's got nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with making a fantastic whiskey. And in this case, this young single malt is a wonderful thing, a promise of things to come. Absolutely lovely. Look out for it. At the moment, it is available in the Netherlands. It's just started to arrive in the Netherlands. I believe that it's going to be in Germany quite soon too. I don't know about the United States yet, but I believe so in the future. Now, before I stop, I'm going to taste something else and talk of it. Not this one, no. I dropped these little bottles and I've forgotten which. Oh, here they are. Here's the two I wanted. They gave me some samples. Now, as you can see in this one, I can't keep my hands off it. I'm trying to resist it. It's a red wine cask, and it's been inside for 3 years. This could officially be called whiskey. The alcohol percentage is 64.5. It's exactly 3 years old. Very dark. Only red wine casks, so absolutely no influence of bourbon casks whatsoever. Red wine casks, probably European oak. I don't know, but probably. The reason I'm saying probably is that Israeli winemakers often make use of oak from France or Eastern Europe. Now here we have it. It's a red wine cask. Its cask fill date, distillation date was the 4th of the 5th, 2015, and it was bottled here, especially for me, myself, and I. It was given to me by the lovely people at Milk and Honey, and it was bottled on the 6th of the 5th, 2018. Now, let's see what this one's like. 64% alcohol, eh? This is just to let you have an idea of the things that are coming. This is beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, this is gorgeous. I can't keep my hands off it. I'm almost through it all now. Without any water at all, it's of course very, very full of alcohol, 64.5%. Sweet. It's amazingly sweet. It's got things like jelly beans, these children's sweets, wine gums. I can taste plums in it. This is the time of year in the Netherlands just now where we can buy lots of plums at the market. My wife even has an allotment where she has plums. Plums we have lots of at the moment, and it reminds me a little bit of plums, dates, and if you know it at all, pomegranate juice, which I can taste in it. Now the woodiness which I have on this first one is gone altogether. Now because of the strength of the alcohol, I'm going to put a little bit of water in. Actually quite a lot of water I put in there. And then again it becomes much more pungent, much more, I can sniff it much better. And with a little bit of water, the sweetness tends to die down, and it becomes more in balance with the dry part that it has. Now the other one that I wanted to let you know about of things to come, an ex-rum cask which I totally fell in love with. It's very light. Look at the colour, very light in colour. I was at the distillery and I totally fell in love with it. It's exactly 1 year old, exactly, to the very month, just 1 year old exactly. So an ex-rum cask, 66.2%. I remember asking them what rum cask it was, from which rum distillery it came from, and I think they gave me an answer, but I've forgotten, sorry. An ex-rum cask, so here we have it, 66.2%. This might all come together, they might mix them. Special bottlings. Tropical fruits, pineapple, banana, in the mouth. Everything I love about rum casks. I adore rum casks. Pepper, white pepper, which has been milled, a little bit of water in. Oh, how beautiful. I just love a rum cask, you know, I can't help myself. So, from Tel Aviv in Israel, wonderful whiskey about to sweep upon you. This is from a distillery called Milk and Honey Distillery. Actually reflecting a biblical term, even though they are not wanting to put anything religious at all. The word kosher is on the bottle. It's been done under rabbinical auspices. The rabbis have been looking and watching that they're doing everything in a kosher way. The reason is that in Israel, if you want to have your product in certain restaurants, or most restaurants probably, then it's advisable to have the kosher certificate on the back. So they do have a kosher certificate, and if that's important to you, then here we have a whiskey with a kosher certificate. Although whiskey is almost per definition kosher as it is, but I don't want to talk of religion. It's if that's important to you, the kosher certificate's on the back of the bottle. And another thing I want to say just before I close this little vlog off about this whiskey, which is totally excellent and which I would recommend to anyone. Israel has a whole bunch of climate zones. On the top, in the north of Israel, and away up to the north of Galilee, you have a mountain range called the Golan Heights. And very high up in the mountains, I mean really very, very high indeed, much higher than the Scottish mountains, they've acquired space for a warehouse, and they're going to be maturing some whiskey high up in the mountains. And they also have their own warehouse down in Tel Aviv, right near the shore. It's actually right next to Jaffa, which is famed for its oranges, and it has an old city centre within walking distance from the distillery, 4,000-year-old city Jaffa, where the legendary Jonah left because he didn't want to preach the word of God to that he was supposed to, and he ended up at the belly of a whale, and the whale vomited him up, and he ended up, you know the story anyway. But that was where Jonah left from Jaffa. That's where the distillery is, where Jonah used to live. Or where Jonah, maybe he didn't live there, I don't know if he lived there, but Jonah, the seer, the prophet, he ended up fleeing from the shores of Jaffa, where this is. So that's another place where they have where they mature. Up in the Golan Heights, high up, cool air, snow in the winter. Quite cool in the summer and moderate, and then down at the sea level where it's hot, 3/4 of a year, it's 30 degrees, 35, going up to 40 throughout the summer. Then it cools down in the winter to 18, 20, and then it starts going back up again in February or March. So that's the second place. The third place is the hills of Judea, which are just to the west of Jerusalem, and they are about in meters go up to about 700, 800 meters high, and so right in the middle, a bit of a land climate, not so much the influence of the sea, and it's a little bit cooler too. In the night time it can even get frosty up there, especially in the winter time. In the summertime not. They have lovely vineyards up there. So that's another place where they've acquired space for a warehouse. And again, down at the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is many, many hundreds of meters below sea level, and is actually the very lowest spot on the face of planet Earth. It's the lowest place on Earth, and they've acquired a place down there to build a warehouse to mature their whiskey there too, and they're going to experiment with all these different places for the maturation of their whiskey. Up until now it's in Tel Aviv. Beautiful, I can recommend it to anyone. Milk and Honey Distillery. And from here in my house in the Netherlands, to anybody watching this anywhere in the world, please don't react under this video with anything political. Please, this is not a political broadcast, it's about whiskey. So, and I can recommend this whiskey to anyone. It is beautiful. I love it. And Milk and Honey Distillery from Israel, highly recommended. And from me to you, I say shalom and l'chaim to your life. May it be long and prosperous, and may you have peace. Bye bye.